Hey guys, Dave Bergman here from Audio Tute's going to give you a quick tip today on song editing within Logic Pro. I'm using version 9. I'm basically going to be showing you through a few things I wish I knew when I first started using Logic, things like basic fades and just quick edits between waveforms within the Logic Arrange window. So without much ado, let's just get cracking. So I'm just going to drag in some media to start with. I'm just going to start with a new project within Logic Pro. Added one stereo audio track. You don't know how to do that, it's pretty simple. Here we go, new track, audio, stereo, create. And you'll create that track. So I'm just going to delete that. Just hit the delete key within the Mac. Get rid of that. So I've got a test audio file here already. It's just a short file that I've put together for this. We're not going to import any type of information or markers. Okay, so we've got a track in the window. Plays. Great. So within Logic, there's two different types of fading between different tracks. Today we're going to be editing this one file. So we're going to be extending the section from here, I think, to about here. Which is kind of the build up to the ending chorusy kind of section. So we're going to loop this twice within Logic. So this may seem a simple thing. Well, it is a simple thing, but we're mainly doing this today to look at the workflow involved with this and just going through some of the tools. So first off, we're going to look at where we're going to cut this. So we'll have a quick listen. We're going to find the point where we want the loop to start. Okay, so we want the loop to start here. And we want to loop back to this section here. So I'm going to show you both ways to do the fade envelopes within Logic. Both have their benefits. The way that I use primarily, I use because it's the quickest way, I find, and it gives you the most flexibility and power within the fade envelope. So let's just go ahead and split this track into two. The backspace key. Now this does not destructively edit the waveform at all. The waveform is completely within each section. It's like in a video editing program where you can still access the information either side. So if I go into automation mode, I'll just give you an example of what I mean. This key here, so you can drag it back, and then that's the rest of the song section there. So each of these is their own piece of the song, but it's just being edited to that point. Just going to undo those two things. I'm going to make a new track with duplicate settings. Okay, and I'm going to drag this down holding the shift key so it doesn't move in time. So that should still play perfectly fine. And yep. Okay, so now I'm going to drag this back to where I want the loop to start. And because these are synced up, this is exactly the same waveform. So if I play them together, there's no difference except in a level increase because they're playing synced up. So now I'm going to drag this forward and meet it roughly with the beat here. So I'm going to zoom in, holding the Alt key down and dragging with I've got a magic mouse, but you can also use the trackpad if you have a MacBook. If you drag side to side, you zoom in side to side, and if you drag up and down, you zoom in up and down, like so. So I'm just going to reset that. I'm going to zoom in here and just going to match up the beats. And I'll just make sure that that's the downbeat is in the right spot. Okay, so we've got a track lined up, and that doesn't sound terrible because it's a pretty simple track, and there's not many elements that have changed between the two sections of the loop. We're on the automation page here, which means we can see a line through here, and how I know what that line means is by this thing here. Whatever this button is what that line is. So we go to pan, it's center, so it's pan to center, volume. Okay, so when it's grayed out, it means that it's not doing anything. It's not being used. So if we click anywhere along this gray line, it becomes yellow and it's active. It's actively controlling the fader. So if we click anywhere else, we can make keyframes. So what I'm going to do is fade this out, drag this down. And I'm going to do the same on the bottom half here. And I want to try and keep this peak on the new track. So you've got to kind of time your fades so that we don't gain any extra information on the fade and we don't lose any information on the fade as well. I'll give you a few examples in a second, but let's just see how this sounds. Yeah, it's okay. It could be better. But let me just show you what I mean when I say, if you do a straight crossfade like this, it's not going to be an equal power crossfade, which means the level's going to dip in the middle, and you'll hear what I mean. And likewise, if we go the other way, and if we don't fade out the old track until the new track is fully faded in, you'll get a volume increase in the middle. It's kind of a bit of a surge. So what we want is something in the middle, obviously. So it may take a bit of finessing maybe to find the right spot. And also, at the moment, I've just got a straight curve. So I wanted this to be more subtle. I can do something like that. Let's drag it out a bit longer even. And we can do the same thing on the other side as well. Okay, so that's sounding fairly natural and it's fitting in fine. So this is the first way. This is the way that I find the quickest within Logic Pro and the easiest. Although it has its downfalls. I'll show you this now. So in the case of if you have any effects, especially things like delay and reverb, so I'm just going to add just some reverb. Just make it a large space so it's kind of obvious. Okay, just have a listen to this track. So when you fade out, right, it's fading out. Look at the fader here. It's fading out the reverb as well. So that's one negative with this way, is that you're fading out this whole channel. This whole channel is fading out no matter what happens. You're not just fading out the audio file into the inserts on your channel. So if you have extra plugins, things like that at a time that will travel past the track, like Space Designer or reverbs or delays or anything of that variety, it's going to be a problem. But when you're just doing plain audio files like we are today, I need to turn on and off plugins quickly, hold the Alt key down and click. And you can also Command key, drag. So that's this way. I'm going to show the other way now. What I'm going to do is just mute these two channels. And then copy, Command C, make two new tracks. Okay, so I copied these two tracks over, kept the same timing because that's fairly simple. And I'm just going to show you how to get rid of these keyframes if you ever need to. So if you click, just like creating them, if you click on them, it will delete them. And when it's yellow, it means it's active. So we just want to disable this completely. So if you click right at the beginning of the track, it'll take it back to a gray line. Another way, a quick way to get rid of them is if you hold one, you're dragging it, you can drag it all the way back to here. Now you still have to click to get rid of that. Just going to make that the same level again. So this way I find a little bit more confusing. It's not very, it doesn't make much sense to me. And this might be wrong, but it might be right for you. Now on the left, on the inspector pane, if you click on the audio file, you'll see these things here called fade in, fade out. Okay. So if we do a fade in and we pull this up here, sorry, we need to do a fade out on this track. So fade out. And you can see that we have a, if I just make that. So that will fade that out as seen here. And if I do the same on this side, fade in, we can see we have this here. Now, they're obviously too short. Let's just, the only way to make these longer easily is if you press the escape key in Logic, you open up the tools menu. And if you go to the fade tool here, so a shortcut to that would be escape, type 0 on the keyboard. And you can see you can now select these fades and drag these out. Which is exactly what I'm going to do. So you can see that they're kind of, it works similar in similar fashion to this. And of course, if you hold within here, you can have your fades either way. So this is going to keep it roughly straight, and I'm just going to try and get that lined up. Okay. It's not too bad. Now obviously you're limited with the fade shapes you can do here. You just got to curve either way. Whereas with these you can kind of do some crazy, if you needed to go up for a little bit there's a little bit of a beat or something, and then back down there. So you have a lot more flexibility with these tools, and they're a lot easier to start with because you don't have to change, you don't have to press the escape key and change back to your fade tool, then back to your pointer tool to move the start of the fades. So already you're saving a lot of time. But you know what? The end result, it works still. And that's completely acceptable. And like I mentioned before, if you have something like a reverb on this channel, how this works is this fades out just the file, just the audio file. And you can see as I play this, you watch this fader, the fader doesn't move because you're fading the source file, you're not fading the track. So if I insert a reverb on top of here, let's choose the same one again. What do I have? This is so relevant. Just that. So I'm just going to mute that. So we've just got this. Hear that tail? It kept playing. Whereas if you go back to this track, I'm just going to drag on the mixer page, you can just Command Alt or drag across and copy a effect across. On this track, if I play this, there's no tail on the reverb, so it fades the reverb out as well as the track. This way has its benefits. I don't really know anyone who inserts a reverb over a finished track, but you know, if it catches on, then that's what you need to do. So I hope this quick tip was useful for you. Any beginners out there, I hope that you gained some insight into just how to quickly fade things within Logic and just to utilize Logic to its full potential.